Hey everyone, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. Today we are going to be talking about a slightly different type of case. We're going to be talking about the disappearance of Tammy Kingery. Now, she was only 37 years old when she went missing in the North Augusta area of South Carolina in the United States. Tammy is a white female. She is roughly 5'4", or 125 pounds at the time of her disappearance. She was last seen wearing a light-colored shirt, blue jeans, a wedding ring, bracelets on her left wrist, carrying a hard, possibly Rock Cafe backpack. She went missing on September 20th of 2014. Here is a picture of Tammy. She is an absolutely beautiful woman. She was working as a nurse. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. When Tammy was a little younger, she was working at a pharmacy. She loved this job. According to her coworkers, she did this job very well. This is when she met her future husband, a guy by the name of Park. They eventually married. Tammy had always aspired to be a nurse, so she enrolled in nursing school where she was very successful, a standout. She knew that she wanted to pursue her career in nursing. She was very good at what she did. So after graduation, her and her husband, they decided to make a fresh start. This is when they moved to the North Augusta part of South Carolina. I'm going to have some various maps up as always. This is a picture of them when they were in their early days. They moved to South Carolina, they bought some property and built this absolutely beautiful home on Mealing Road. This is a map of where the general location of their home was. She got a job with a local practitioner's office where she was said to be very successful. Here is another map of the general location in South Carolina. Although it was Augusta, it was the northern part, so I'm going to have some various pictures and maps to give you an idea, but it's a very beautiful area. This is a picture of the home that they built. Absolutely beautiful, huge home. They ended up having more children. This house, however, was located down a very long driveway. I'm going to have some pictures to show you of that. This is an outside view of the home. This is a picture looking down of the driveway going in towards their home. Then this next picture is the very small double lane road that they would need to access to get to their property. This is all going to be important later when I go into more information. This is a picture of the couple after they had settled in South Carolina. People who knew them from the outside said that they thought they were very happy. They had had several kids. She's got a beautiful smile, but unfortunately, she was also suffering from depression, which she was on medication for. But things seemed to be going okay. Up until this point, she seemed to be doing okay. Up until her disappearance, the 2 weeks prior, she started feeling sick. There were times at night where she woke up and her pajamas were so wet from being sweaty that she had to change. She knew just something was off. She told her husband that she just felt awful. On the day of her disappearance, she couldn't find someone to take her shift. She did leave work early because she was just feeling so horrible. Her husband took her home, put her in bed. He said that he had to take his younger son out to help mow his mother's yard. When he left, she was in the bed. He took his son out. The son was mowing the yard. After the son finished mowing the yard, called his father. Father picked him up. They eventually went back to the house. This is when they found this note. This is the actual note that they found. It said, "Went for a walk, be back soon, love you." Aside the note, Park saw that she had left her cell phone, pocketbook, keys, everything was left behind, so he knew something was wrong. He jumped in his car, immediately went out and tried starting to look for her. He also contacted one of his daughters and told her to start looking for her as well. They were very concerned because the areas in and around their house where she might have walked to were very dangerous. There weren't very many trails. Not only that, the fact that she left everything behind, and the average foot speed is roughly 3.5 miles an hour, and someone that was ill, they figured that she couldn't have gotten far. They were unable to find her anywhere. Park's son was a very educated Boy Scouts. So they went into the woods, they started searching there. They couldn't find her anywhere. By nightfall, she still had not returned to the house. Even more concerning, when Park spoke to his daughter, she said that while they were out looking, she said that her and her friend could have sworn they saw her mother on a motorcycle with some man that they had never seen before. Now you have to remember, these people wearing helmets. This is very hard to tell. But at this time, this is when they contacted the Edgefield County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office immediately deployed roughly 30 to 40 people for the ground search. The family immediately contacted other family members. They all started making flyers and putting them all up around town and asking questions. This was all within 36 hours, which is generally good. This usually means that they will find the person. They also brought in several dog teams. Unfortunately, even with all these efforts, they weren't able to find any leads or anything. Thankfully, they were able to bring in a helicopter, which the next day, it was a very clear day. It was able to see throughout all these forests that were in and around their home, and everybody involved, the family members, the police, all the volunteers, they all thought that they would find her because they didn't think that she could get far. Unfortunately, these search efforts all failed. Eventually, a new volunteer search effort formed. These are some of the news footage pictures. They had people on foot, they had people on horseback. I know some of these images aren't the greatest. They are the actual news footage pictures of the search. They had a huge turnout because Tammy had such a big impact on everybody in the community. Despite her depression, everyone who knew her, her closest friends, her family, they all said that she would never willingly leave her kids behind. So these people all went out into the forest. They went through these dense areas where they thought she might have gone. They searched for several days. These are actual pictures from those searches. As you can see, it's very dense. The volunteers reported having to climb over very thick and heavy vines and brush to get even just a couple of feet. Ultimately, these searches led to nothing. The authorities then turned back toward the family. They started questioning Park. They asked him about his whereabouts. This is standard in most of these cases. They always go to the last person or people that have been seen with them. They asked him about where he was, tried to confirm what he was doing that day. He said that what he did, he was going out to take his son to mow his mother's lawn. They were able to corroborate this alibi using his cell phone data with various cell phone towers, and this all matched up. Even through all of this, there was still speculation because some of their close friends revealed that things between the marriage were not actually so great. Because at this time, because so much time had passed, it was now hunting season in the area. The volunteer search efforts could no longer go on. The coming of this new evidence put more pressure on the husband. They scrutinized him further because they eventually found out through a podcast, which I'll have all that information in the description, but he shared it later that he knew that she had been having an affair roughly a year prior to this whole incident. Of course, the media was involved in this. I'll have all that in the description as well. For this family, it was just absolutely devastating, and there are still no answers to this day. He was asked to give a polygraph, the husband, until the Curious Times podcast interview that he did roughly 11 months later. We really didn't know because the police didn't disclose it. He said that he wasn't supposed to talk about it. He said that he sort of passed, but they had some other questions. Ultimately, in this podcast interview, several things came out about the affair that he knew that had been going on, about the polygraph that he had to take. doesn't point to him. We still have no answers, and unfortunately, she remains missing to this day, and this case is still considered unsolved. I will have information in the description of the authorities in charge of this case. My thoughts and prayers go out to Tammy, all of her sisters, her mother, her husband, all of her children, everybody who is working so hard to try and find answers, and hopefully they will find them soon. I want to thank you all for watching. As always, the calendar should be in this week, so if you are interested, please let me know. Special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me till the end. I know this case was a little different. She did disappear, however, in the woods. It is an unsolved case. I believe that she might still be out there, or somebody knows more than what they're sharing. And I wanted to circulate this case because listening to her sisters and her family's interviews, I know that they genuinely care about her and want to know what happened to her. And that's why we do these videos, to help. Hopefully the right person will see the video, know something about it, and will do the right thing and contact the proper authorities. I'll have all that information in the description as always. If you haven't subscribed, I please ask you to consider subscribing. It's free and it really helps the channel out. Even if you're not going to watch every video, it really helps the channel out. And my channel, we do a lot for search and rescue. Ultimately, I just want to help these families find their lost loved ones. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.